All right.
Hey, guys, before we do our redraft, I want to remind everybody about Malley's chocolate. All you need is love and chocolate this Valentine's Day to be ready to say those 3 little words, I got Malley's. From friendship to love to every situationship in between, Malley's has the perfect chocolate to say what you feel. Our famous chocolate-covered strawberries and grapes are back in stores February 13th and 14th, and the rest of your Valentine's Day favorites like Gold Cup assortments, foil-wrapped solid milk, and dark chocolate hearts, peanut butter, caramel, and raspberry filled hearts, and so much more are in stores and online now. This Valentine's Day, say it with Malley's.
Love Malley's. We appreciate them being a sponsor of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. So ESPN did a redraft. I like these things 3 years later. I think that's better, but I still enjoy
They by the way, they do 1 year and then 3 year ones.
Oh, good.
So this was the 1 year, obviously, because 2025. But
so what's our first graphic on this, guys?
I got 1 through 6 going first. Is that what you want?
Okay, yeah, let's do that. This would be the new top 6.
And there was no trades involved, so this was people drafting
where
their
they were
spots.
in their original spot.
So the Browns had the second pick in this recoup.
Now, if let's say we could go back a year in time, would you take Tyler Shough over Jaxson Dart? We'd obviously take one of them at 2.
Take one of them.
I'd take Jaxson Dart.
I think I would take Dart. I mean, listen, it's 2 and 3, so you're splitting hairs here.
I guess it's who do you think is going to be better? I think the biggest concern with Dart right now is that
it's the health,
the injuries.
He's got injured a bunch of times.
Yeah, I mean, Shuck's not exactly a model of clean living. Look at all the injuries.
Right, but he get hurt in the NFL.
Okay, yeah,
but still,
yes, he had a lot of injuries in college.
His
You're
body
right.
is still his body.
But didn't Dart have 2 concussions, or am I crazy?
He went into concussion protocol 4 times.
4 times? Yeah.
Have you seen the way he scrambles?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of guys who scramble don't get concussion protocol 4 times.
It is the number one thing he has to work on this offseason is not taking gigantic hits to the
I
head.
watched more of Dart than I did of Shough, but I think I would take Shough because I'd be concerned about 4 concussions.
Well, he had 2 concussions, went into protocol.
Still, 2 concussions as a rookie. That's alarming.
Yeah.
So Will Campbell is an offensive lineman, right?
And Cam Ward was the first overall pick.
Yeah.
Shough went 40th.
Take
In this redraft, the Browns take him at 25th. So Dart goes from 25 to 3. The Giants end up with him anyway. Campbell went 4. Hunter went 2nd. He ended up with the Jaguars anyway.
Interesting that they still had him 5th. I mean, he had an injury-plagued season. It's funny because I don't know what they're going to do with him next year. Right before he got hurt, it seemed like he was starting to come on.
He was starting to break out, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Membu went 7th.
I don't know Membu.
He's the offensive tackle, played very well for the Jets this year.
Okay.
He went from 7th to 6th. And take the next one, Steve. This is 7 through 12. They had Abdul Carter going 7 in this redraft. Yeah. He obviously went 3rd in the real draft. Tet McMillan went 8th. He stays 8th. Kelvin Banks Jr. went 9th. He stays 9th. Colston Loveland went 10th. He stays 10th. Emeka Ibuka went 19th. He moves up to 11.
What did Ibuka finish the season with?
He started out really strong. I'm not sure what his final numbers were, but he tailed off. Then Tyler Booker went 12th in this redraft.
Let's face it, guys. Mason Graham's a good player. He might turn out to be worthy of a first-round pick. He might be. I mean, he's really good.
He went 21 in this, by the way.
But you'd rather have either of those quarterbacks or either of those wide receivers, Ibuka or Tet McMillan.
Or either the tackles, offensive
or
tackles.
the tackles.
And this is the danger of what we fall into sometimes around the draft. Because, I mean, I said last year, how many times did I say that they're telling you it's a 1-quarterback draft? Well, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't a 1-quarterback
draft.
Now
it seems like it wasn't. We got to see how these guys pan out in the long run.
But certainly you got more out of Dart and Shough already than
yes,
I think any of us
it looks like it was a 3-quarterback
So
draft.
when you sit here today and you say, well, you don't want Ty Simpson, you don't want Garrett Nussmeier, you don't want this. Okay.
Right.
Well, a year from now, we very well may be
And a lot of that's groupthink, Jason. This is a big problem in sports.
Yes. 100%.
You know, once you see a couple of mock drafts saying those guys aren't that good.
Which is why I said I am paying you for your evaluation.
That's right.
I don't care what those other people say.
Yes.
We need a quarterback. You tell me if one of these quarterbacks are worth taking.
Yeah. And maybe Todd Monken loves one of these guys.
Yeah. And if he does, stand on the table and draft him, whoever it is.
I don't care. I mean, if the Browns draft some quarterback we're not expecting at, what are they, 6?
6 or 24?
I don't care. I'm not going to kill him for it. If Todd Monken and Barry, I'm going to have to trust them. I don't. But I have. What choice do I have? He's the GM of the Browns. Mm-hmm. If they believe in a guy and you think he's going to be gone by 26, then you take him at 6.
Just to continue with the redraft thing real quick, because then it's going to hit into a couple of different side conversations. They did 2 rounds of this. So the Browns' 3 picks in this 2-round mock draft was Shough at 2, They ended up taking Fannin at 33, by the way, who they ended
Right.
up getting at 67.
Yeah.
And then they took Jihad Campbell, the linebacker for the Eagles, who had a good rookie season, instead of Quinshon Judkins. They did have 4 picks the Browns made, and if you go to the next graphic, these are the Browns picks that went elsewhere.
Yeah, and the
in
Browns,
this
the 4
redraft.
picks that we knew they did well with.
Mason
all
Graham,
went in the 2 rounds.
Schlesinger went 19th to Tampa Bay.
That's what I was
Let's see
wondering.
it here.
It's the very next graphic.
We don't have a 339 underneath here, Mike. Sorry about
I'll
that.
tell you. It was Schlesinger went 19th to Tampa Bay. Mason Graham went 21st to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Fannin went 33 to Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then Judkins went 39 to
Yeah.
Jacksonville.
Okay.
So they had 4 guys they drafted go in the top 40 of the redraft,
Right.
just in varying orders.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, when you have 4 guys that are worthy of top 2 round picks, which they are.
Who was the biggest fall? Do you know? Like, was anybody taken high in the first round?
Not
that
you
fell
mean
out
just
of
in
the
general,
first
not
round?
the Browns, but
Just in
well,
general.
they only did 2 rounds.
Yeah,
Anybody drafted in the first.
in the top 10 that fell out of the first
Well,
round.
I'm sure the
entirely.
Bengals' first round pick was not in the top 2 rounds.
I will
don't
tell
know
you
who
one
they
sec.
take.
Shamar
They
Stewart.
took
Shamar Stewart.
Shamar Stewart. Yeah, I doubt he was in the top 2 rounds. He didn't do anything.
I just wonder if
There's probably a handful of first round picks.
I wonder if Graham farthest be the farthest fall. From
No,
No.
No, that's not that bad. I mean,
No,
you say-
it's not.
He shouldn't have been a top 10 pick, but he's worthy of a first round
in the
pick,
first
yeah.
round.
I mean, the Brown. Listen,
If you would do a
As
redraft to Corey Coleman the year after, he's
as-
not in the first round.
as much as there's guys that you'd rather have taken than Mason Graham, in the 15, 16 years I've been covering this team, he's one of their best first round picks. I mean, most of their first round picks have been trash.
yeah.
So I'm not going to. It's not a terrible pick.
Right,
There were
right.
better options, but anyway.
So would the Browns, while this loads, would the Browns be better off if they got this redraft scenario with Shough? They got Fannin, they had Fannin, and Jihad Campbell. Long term, they would be right now with the guys they
I
actually
mean,
have.
we feel as much as you'd lose Schlesinger, which would be a loss. You'd lose Judkins. You would have had 1 less pick, and you'd lose Mason Graham. You'd have Campbell instead of Schlesinger. Okay. Ultimately, it depends what you feel about Tyler Shough. But yes, I would trade it. I would trade those 4 guys for these 3 guys because I think Shough could be a top 15 quarterback.
I mean, it goes back to what we said about. I mean, we just got done saying Miles could go down as the greatest of all time at his position, and they made the wrong pick because it was the Mahomes draft.
That's right.
Like, that's insane.
That's right.
But I agree with you.
Yeah.
They should have taken Patrick Mahomes. Then, having the benefit of hindsight, not
Right.
information.
We weren't talking about
Nobody
it.
was saying it.
No, as much as we're obsessed with quarterbacks,
Yes.
not once in that process did I ever say Brown should draft Patrick Mahomes.
Correct.
Correct. But
And so that's
Yeah.
why, I mean, they came away with players that you feel really good about at the top
Yeah.
of the draft, and that's great. But until they solve quarterback, nothing else matters.
that's right. And that's why ultimately, as good as those 4 players are, the Browns drafted 4 guys in the first 3 rounds that are all worthy of being second-round picks or better. And yet, you would probably trade it. Most people would. Now, obviously, if you're a diehard Shador guy, you're going to say those people right now are freaking out because they're saying, "What are you, crazy?"
Yeah, there's a lot of people crying right now.
Right. But, and again, we don't know. Tyler Shough is not a short thing. He hasn't played
100%.
enough to know he's a short
None of the
thing.
quarterbacks from last
But
year.
if you
sure.
ask
He
me,
certainly has showed you enough to be
right.
excited.
And again, the Saints stink. It's not like he had a washed-up Alvin Kamara, and then he got hurt. They have nothing else in their back. Their backfield's absolute trash.
Olave's good.
Olave's a good wide receiver. He's better than Jerry Jeudy, but that's it. Who else did they have?
Not a lot. Taysom Hill.
Yeah, but he's a gadget player.
The one thing I
Using that much.
can't get my mind off. Steve,
Yeah.
will you pull up the graphic of the Browns picks from last year, like the actual picks with Mason Graham at 5? When you have high picks, me and Earl were going back and forth on this the other
Yeah.
day. You have to be so sure if you're taking a guy at certain positions that aren't premium positions at that draft capital, because they just don't come around elsewhere. Like premium left tackles, almost never, if ever, hit free agency. Premium quarterbacks, never, if ever.
To be fair,
hit free
premium
agency.
anything does it. It's not like premium defensive tackles in their prime come up.
But like
become free
Javon
agents.
Hargrave a couple of years ago was coming off a great season when he
Yeah.
hit free agency. Dalvin Tomlinson, who signed with the Browns, was coming off.
He wasn't elite.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
The Jets just had a defensive tackle. They just
Quentin
traded.
Williams had just traded.
Yeah,
Like there are certain
Yes, it's
positions.
easier to get a defensive, and there
Edges.
aren't as many elite. I don't know. Like defensive tackles just don't make as obvious an impact as other positions. It's still important, but
I'm not. And Mason Graham's not a miss. Like I'm
no,
not
he's
saying,
a good
I'm
player.
not saying
He's a very
miss.
good player.
But when you look at the picks that came after him in the real draft, in the actual NFL draft, after him, Ted McMillan.
Yeah.
Did he win Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I don't know.
Who won Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I will look it up. 1 second.
I think it was Ted McMillan.
Should have been.
You had 2 left tackles.
Yeah.
Or 2 tackles go in the picks after Membu and Kelvin Banks. Turned out to be really good players.
Right.
The Browns are going into next season with 0 offensive linemen you feel confident in. 0.
And 0 wide receivers.
And 0, like, once again, it's not a Mason Graham knock. It's just there
Ted
are certain...
McMillan did win offensive rookie.
It was Ted McMillan. There are just certain positions that I think you have to value more at those top premium
teams generally
picks,
do.
Which teams generally do. And when you look at that Browns draft class, defensive tackle, good. Linebacker, very good. Tight end, turned out to be really good. Running back, like those first 4 picks, all very good picks. They don't fill the premium positions, and teams that don't have guys at premium positions don't win many games.
And it's so funny because the Browns are reportedly the most analytically driven team in the league, and yet usually teams that follow that path are not, are more focused on the primary positions, and they haven't done that, right? The Browns have not, with Andrew Berry, have not drafted a quarterback in the first round.
A receiver in the first round?
Have not drafted a receiver in the first round.
A pass rusher?
They drafted a left tackle once, or a tackle once, and he was a bust.
And a cornerback and a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And if you want to include their first pick in another draft, Mike Hall was their first pick, another defensive tackle.
Yeah, and he's a bust.
Has not been what you needed so far.